challenge here. So, all right, Paul, let's talk about Aura's market awareness. Do you really think it could flag major events like the Black Swan or other key market conditions?
Yeah, I mean, I think Aura's going to be able to like pick out those nuggets of information that that seems small at first, but lead to the Black Swan events later, right? Because like that's why they're Black Swans. It's not like a huge wave that you see. It's like just like that small thing that starts having ripple effects that later create enormous things, whether it's an economy or like the market that you're in. And to get those nuggets of information is what I think Aura is going to be really good at, and then giving advice about there's at least the potential for a Black Swan event, and that will already kind of affect like the decision making of the leaders of the company or like a government, or things like that.
Wow. So let's talk about a little bit about how Aura actually works then. So
Not gonna say everything.
yeah, no, you can give us a little feel. So.
I mean, Aura is like both. It's an AI company and a crypto company, but it's also a sensor network because, in the three pillars of AI, you have the most important things are the algorithm, the hardware, so think NVIDIA, GPUs, and then the data. And what we've seen right now is that, the algorithms are always going to be open source for the most part, so that's a commoditized thing. The GPUs are, from what we saw, NVIDIA's like $600 billion, crash after that breakthrough that the Chinese had. It's going to be less relevant. I'm not saying it's going to be irrelevant, but it'll be less relevant. But the data is always going to be relevant. Like to get that exquisite data, if you have it and nobody else does, then you're always going to have an advantage over other AI models.
Got it. So that's great. So now let's get to a really serious question.
Oh, sure.
How many Paul Chows does it take to change a light bulb?
Too many. That's it.
Way too many.
Too many.
If you had 1 minute to pitch Aura Vision to Elon Musk, what would that pitch be like?
First, I would say we're on the same side.
I like that.
And I assume he would get immediately what we're doing. So what would I be pitching him for? It's not like really an investment or anything like that, but just, more collaboration on certain things. Because he has like quite an advanced operation with state-of-the-art algorithms for frontier generation, large language models, and it would be something like that.
Interesting.
It's kind
Remember, he'll be half tweeting and half listening during.
Yeah, I'm
so.
sure. Hopefully, yeah. I hope not.
Let's switch gears over to the company itself. How is the company structured? How many employees do we have? What is the next several months lined up looking like?
Well, the company's structured, we're based in the United States. So we have like a proper, corporation set up with a board of directors, which you're all, unfortunately. And so we made some recent hires and sort of contract hires, and the next 6 months will be pretty aggressive in terms of certain areas that we want to really, beef up our skill set in, and as we're going to scale, because really right now the opportunity is so large. It's a matter of us having too much demand, and we have to get the capability to get the supply that will meet that demand. So that's what it looks like to me anyway.
Yeah, it sounds good to me. Obviously I know it too. Makes a lot of sense. And how important is Eigen Value Ventures to what we started here? And based on your previous run at LedgerX, what would you be able to share with people about how important it is that this VC firm has come in and jumped in out of the gates?
Yeah, it's always important to get smart people running like a VC fund and get that investment because, first it really motivates the co-founders and employees because we have like a legitimate investor that we cannot let down. So that always pushes us the extra mile versus if we're just doing this in our garage,
right,
kind of thing. And luckily the folks behind Eigen Ventures, they're willing to take risks on really important opportunities, and to have an investor in a company like that understands that framework is always going to be valuable because they will help you in so many other ways. It's not just capital; it's introductions, right? It could be introductions to other investors, lawyers that may be able to help in certain areas. Typically, when investors behind this kind of like venture firm, they come with like a wealth of relationships, and so it's not just capital that they provide. Right. It's actually all the other things. Yeah.
Back to other interesting aspects of the organization. Obviously, we have clients straight out of the gates, and a couple signed LOIs, and of course, everybody knows FRS is our first beta client. Any updates to share there, or anything else you'd want to share on that relationship with our client partner FRS?
Yeah, I mean, FRS has been a great partner from the start, and we've learned quite a bit working with them, and are continually refining the productivity needs. And it's and taking those lessons for the other clients that we're talking to. I kind of tangentially touched on this on my Twitter account, not Twitter account, but like Telegram and things like that about the other agencies that we're working with. Some of them are very large, and so FRS has helped us figure out, okay, FRS obviously has an enormous set of clients, and
30,000.
I think most people consider that ginormous, actually. And the other kind of organizations we're working with, whether government or other things like hospital systems, are also just enormous, and we treat every customer within that system as like a, like taking the abilities of like what FRS taught us to apply to that. So I think it's been extremely valuable.
No, it's awesome. No, great questions here, and I guess our community wanted to know one final question, Paul. But if you, Paul Chow, for some reason, God forbid, were murdered, which TV or movie detective would you trust to crack the case to figure that out?
Yeah,
outside of myself, because I'd be looking for that person.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I wouldn't care about them, like people figuring out who did it. Yeah. I would just want revenge. So like John Wick. Yeah. So it's not quite like a detective necessarily, but I just want to make sure like things are settled in the end and avenged correctly.
That's Keanu Reeves, right?
Yep.
So, all right, there you go. That makes total sense. Well,
all right. Thanks.
Here we are. Awesome.
All right.
First of many here on this interview.